The Supreme Court declined to hear two cases today involving abortion restrictions, leaving intact so-called buffer zones. Pro-lifers in Chicago and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, had challenged ordinances in those two cities, saying they violated their rights to free speech. Joining me now on Skype to talk more about today's announcement and other pro-life issues is Dr. Grazie Christie, Senior Policy Advisor with the Catholic Association. She is also a practicing radiologist. Grazie, welcome back to the show. So good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so this leaves in place laws that create buffer zones outside of abortion clinics in Chicago and in Harrisburg. How does that affect sidewalk counseling outside of the facilities?
Well, protesting and sidewalk counseling outside and sidewalk prayer outside of these facilities is going to continue because these protesters and people who pray, I am one of them. I like to do this. I like to take my children to show how much we care. This is going to go on because we really care about this issue. We want to save people, women from abortion and babies, of course. But also it's going to bring up that idea of double standards. Why are First Amendment rights so important for some kinds of protests, but can be safely set aside for other kinds of protests, or at least limited, as in this case?
Yeah. Today's announcement comes on the heels of Monday's very disappointing decision by the Supreme Court to overturn a Louisiana, that is, state law seeking to hold abortion clinics to the same standards as other surgical centers. What was your reaction when you learned of that ruling?
Well, I was very sad because as a physician, I understand very well that the law was prompted, the reason for the law in Louisiana was prompted for the necessity to ensure women's safety, that women who were going to these surgical abortion centers to have abortions should be as safe as they are as when they go to a different center for a tonsillectomy. And as long as abortions are legal and are happening, then at least women should have the same expectation of safety at an abortion clinic as they do as at any other surgical center.
Yeah, and as you know, earlier this week in your home state of Florida, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill requiring minors to obtain written consent from a parent before they can actually have an abortion. And that went into effect yesterday. And so that's encouraging news. Can we talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I was very excited about that. That's a law that I was behind, that I worked on. I wrote some pieces about it. And I believe that it's very important for girls, for minor girls, to have their parents involved in their lives in these important decisions, especially because children are often being abused. These girls are abused by older men, sometimes being trafficked, sometimes by nefarious people. And the parents, the people who need to take care of these girls are their moms and their dads. And the government shouldn't stand in the way, and Planned Parenthood shouldn't stand in the way, as we know that they do.
Well, Grazie, anything else that you think we should be keeping our eye out on?
Well, I think we need to be storming our Congress people, our state legislatures and everything, and keep insisting as Catholics, as people who care about the dignity of life, that anything that can hold back the culture of death, we need to enact it. We need to try, and we need to take it all the way to the Supreme Court and just keep trying.
Well, Grazie, thank you so much for your time. We always appreciate you coming on. Dr. Grazie Christie, Senior Policy Advisor with the Catholic Association. Thank you again.
Thank you.